So at the beginning of this year, 2018, I was in this big funk. I was not really excited about showing up for my business each day. I felt like sitting on the couch and binging on Netflix all the time. Like there was a lot of times when Steve would come home in the afternoon from work, from his, 9 to 5 type job, and I would be lying on the couch watching an episode of The Mindy Project. Shout out to The Mindy Project. And I would feel like almost embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, he caught me. He caught me, and I'm sitting here watching an episode of a show. But I didn't have the energy to put into my business. I didn't really care that much. I was not super excited about the things that I was doing. And this kind of dragged on for a little while until I went to the January meeting of my mastermind that I have. So let me tell you a little bit about this awesome mastermind. Okay. So I'm going to share this right now. Sharing. There's got to be a better way to do this stuff, huh? All right, so I'm in this mastermind. We've basically been meeting every month for the last 4 years. We met in Marie Forleo's B School, and we kind of have continued on since then. And it's awesome because we have seen each other's businesses really develop and grow. And so each time we come to this and we're in a different place in our business. And so in January, I came to the meeting and I was like, okay, let me just set the stage for you. We had our meeting. We were meeting at this coffee shop here locally that we really love, has great brunch food, all this stuff. And we decided we were going to do a quarterly meeting, so it's the entire day blocked off. Normally it's super fun and it feels great. And we're sitting here and we're just talking back and forth. Everyone gets their little spot to share. And it comes to my turn. And I have a freaking tantrum. I am a whiny little child and I am complaining about everything that's going on. I'm so negative. I can hear myself in my brain. I can hear myself being super negative. And one of my good friends who's doing this with me, he's in this mastermind, she's like trying to give me advice, right? Trying to fix the problem, and the problem is me. And I'm just not having it. I'm kind of honestly a little bit bitchy to her. I'm embarrassed that I'm being bitchy, and I am just having this tantrum because I'm not happy in my business, and I'm just burnt out. And that was the start of this year. Behind the scenes, taking you a little bit behind the scenes to share with you. That was our first mastermind of the year. That's how we started off. And by the end of that day, I was really no further in my business, in my development, in my plan of what I wanted to do. But what I had done was made a decision on what I was going to be cutting out of my business, on the things that were really draining me, that had gotten me to this point where I was just hitting that wall and having that meltdown. And that's all I was able to walk away with that day. But then I put that into practice that month in January. I mentally told myself I wasn't going to be doing this anymore. And I removed that piece of my business. And then I moved forward. And then we came back to February's mastermind. And in February's mastermind, I showed up and I was feeling a little bit more hopeful. I still wasn't super excited in business, but I was like, okay, I'm doing some different things. Since January, when I released that other stuff that was draining the energy out of me, I've had some inspirations happening, because basically a week after that January meeting, I had this inspiration for a challenge that I was going to do this spring, which is coming up next month in March. Little shout out to my challenge, standout challenge. It's coming. So everything I've been talking about is going to have a home in very shortly. But anyway, so I had the inspiration for that challenge because in that meeting, I decided I was going to mentally step away from the things that were holding me back, right? That were dragging me down. So that was the first part. And then I went on and had that inspiration. I started doing the things, moving towards it. I came back to the February meeting and I was feeling a lot more energized. I was feeling like a little bit more like, okay, hopeful, like things can happen, things can shift. And you know what the theme that all three of us in our mastermind that we've been meeting for the last 4 years, that all three of us had? Our theme for the year ended up being to stop clenching those fists, to unclench and relax a little bit and allow things to happen in our businesses. Because I had been clenching so tightly, doing what I thought that I needed to do, that I was strangling the life out of my own energy for my business. And so I maybe you have a different visual when you say the word unclench. I know I shared it with Steve and he was like, I don't really like that visual. But I'm thinking of it that way. I'm thinking about it as unclenching. Okay, so back to the story. I came back in February. I was a little bit more unclenched. I had been spending that time. I was more inspired. And then I ended up putting together a plan of what I was going to do. And what we came away from that second session of the year was permission for me to do the things that were exciting to me. Permission for me to show up as me and my brand, for me to play a little bit, for me to explore. And that's what I did during the month of February. I explored. I did podcast episodes where my work wife, my right-hand lady, Cher, interviewed me on the podcast, so it would feel easier. I produced a lot more Facebook Live and video because I love that connection I get with you. I played around with not having as many notes for things because I feel more present, and I love feeling present, and I know it's how you and I connect better. So I started doing that, and it started bringing back the energy and recharging me. Amazing, right? And then March's meeting came, and that was last week. I came to the meeting. I felt like a completely different person than I was at the January meeting. Remember January, I talked about that I had the meltdown. I was pretty bitchy to my mastermind buddies. Well, I came to this meeting and I was like smiling, and I was super happy, and I was excited, and I was doing things that I wanted to do in my business. I was really, really, that past month, since I gave myself permission to do the things I wanted to do, I had been waking up in the morning to write things for the challenge, or I had been creating different things. I was excited to get behind the scenes. I was really excited to make these videos for you. I was building my YouTube channel by uploading them all there, even though no one's watching them yet because I'm not promoting them. I was just doing all these different things that felt really good. And I was getting people noticing and coming in and interacting with me. So, what is the moral of this story for you? What is the moral of this? Because I want to be that person at the March mastermind. I don't want to be the person at the January mastermind. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be the person who shows up and is excited to live and is magnetic and everyone wants to be around. And that's not to say that I'm not allowed to have ups and downs and flows and moods, and it's okay to have the full range of human expression. You know, I'm super expressive, as you may have noticed. But I want the normal rule to be that I'm excited about life and about my business. And I want the exception to the rule to be the days that I'm down. And so the moral of this whole story that I'm telling you is to unclench. That if you have your fists clenched and you're trying to do the things you think you should do in business, and you are doing what everyone else says you should, and you're being who everyone else says you should be, and you are not just being yourself and doing the things that light you up and get you excited, it is going to be a grind, and people will know. You will show up as that January Adria, the tantrum Adria, and you won't show up as the March, like, excited, vibrant Adria. And so that is my wish for you. So I realize I haven't even asked you to share anything with me this whole time, but I'm really curious if you can relate to this. If you can relate to what I'm talking about, if you feel like you are clenched and you need to unclench, then put a 1 in the comments, whether you're watching live or the replay, because remember, I always come back around and I always take a look and respond and interact with people, because The reason I do these videos is so that we can build a relationship together. So that would be kind of pointless if I just like posted and ran, right? All right. And I wanted to, honestly, I just wanted to do this video, one, to share this, but I've made a decision for myself that I am going to keep exploring, that I'm going to be exploring and experimenting and trying different things in my business. And one of the top things that I want to be doing in my business is sharing myself with you. So if I have a little tantrum or a soapbox or a rant or something that's really important to you, for me to use my voice, then I'm going to start doing that. And Facebook Lives like this, where I don't have a lot of structure, it's different than my podcast. If you want like really great strategies and specific walk you through tips, that is the place to go, the Unforgettable Podcast. And I'll put the link below in the comments, but if you want it, if you want me to make sure you get that link so you can go check out episodes, write the word podcast in the comments. So that's my place to be structured. But I'm playing a little bit with this being my place to get on my soapbox and support you. So let me know if you like that in the comments, whether you're watching live or the replay. I want to know, do you want more of this? Was this helpful? Are you going to be implementing this? What's feeling really hard for you right now in your business? What's feeling really hard, and what do you do that is easy? Those are some takeaway thoughts that I have for you today, for you to think about. You can post them in the comments if you want, because I love to see that stuff. I love to hear what's going on for you. And just remember that a clenched fist cannot receive. You have to open it to allow things to come to you, to allow abundance to happen. And trust me, when your hands are open versus clenched fists, life feels a lot easier. So with that, I will sign off. But if you want to be part of this experiment where I come on and I share little pieces of my world for you and give you little tips and stuff like this, then go ahead and like my page and click follow on this video so that you get notified and so we can continue this relationship we've got going on. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you on the next one. And make sure to check out this episode. Oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you. This episode of the podcast dropped today. It's going live, and it is on why no one wants to pay for your coaching package, which is super awesome. So if you're a coach, then that is like a pretty important episode for you to listen to. It's probably one of my favorite ones I've done recently. So if you want that episode, put podcast in the comments, and I'll go ahead and make sure that you get the link to hop on over to that episode. All right, now I'm really going to go. Right, bye.